Mick,
Hello.
how are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very, very, very good. So I wanted to get straight into this. So give me a little bit of a background about yourself.
Background, where do I start? Literally, where do I
yeah, yeah, I've known you for actually, that is a good question because I've known you for years. Okay, let's start with Red Bear. Let's start with Red Bear.
start? Okay, Red Bear. So Red Bear is a digital marketing agency I co-launched in 2011
Right.
and ran that for a little under 4 years. Sold it in 2015 and retired. And then kind of did a bit of a consultancy for the following few years. Kind of helped one business get a deal with London Luton Airport, helped one business increase its turnover by over 20%, and then did a bit of consultancy for another company. They were preparing for kind of doubling their turnover. And during these jobs, I came across the owners of Amber Print, which is a print business in Newport Pagnell. They've been going for over 60 years, and they were looking to future-proof the business and attach a kind of digital marketing arm to it. So in April or May last year, we went into partnership and we launched Amber Digital. So it's basically me doing another digital marketing agency, and we launched that last year. So it's just over a year old now.
Awesome. So how was that process done then with you joining the Amber brand? Was there like negotiations? Was there who approached who? So how did that work?
Well, I met Andrew Perry, the owner of Amber Print. I met him, I can't remember when, but we kind of got talking, and when he mentioned Amber Print and how he's looking to future-proof business, that kind of piqued my interest, because obviously digital marketing
Of course.
is I've done it before. So, but we didn't actually speak for at least maybe half a year, and then I just kind of gave him a call late 2019 or late 2018 rather, and just said, is this something you're still looking to do? And he said, oh yeah, So we met up in January 2019, and he introduced me to the other director of Amber, Leslie.
Right.
And for the first couple of months of 2019, I kind of put together a little plan, proposal for them of how Amber Digital was going to work. And we kind of had a few meetings over the course of a couple of months, and eventually I think we started on April. We officially started in a partnership, and Amber Digital was launched.
Amazing. So moving back to sort of Red Bear, what sort of stuff did you do with them?
Red Bear. So we did websites, social media. Back then, social media for businesses was relatively new on the scene.
Okay.
So there was huge scope for kind of running workshops, training courses, getting businesses set up on social media, and kind of showing them the ropes of how they can utilize these platforms for their businesses.
Okay.
And I think those are the two kind of core services. It was websites and social media.
Okay, cool. So in terms of like the work you did for Red Bear, how would you like get the clients? So would they come to you, or would you go to them? I suppose that question applies to Amber as well. So how would you go out and get clients?
So I love sales, and
Okay.
there are so many different ways of kind of raising awareness of your business and raising your profile and getting people through your doors. So with Red Bear, the thing I was most successful at was just going out. We basically had a map, and we just pick a random place on the map, and I just jump in my car and drive there, and I just do a door to door and just walk into businesses and be like, hey, I'm Mick from Red Bear.
Right.
What we can do for you. How's your website doing? Are you on social media, etc., etc. And without wishing to sound kind of a little bit big-headed, but from every single sales trip I made, I always came back with at least one new client. So that's just to grow the business just by me being out on the road and bring back a client. With Amber, there are so many different ways in which you can gain clients. You can either go out, physically see them. In fact, we've gained a couple of clients that way. When I kind of was in certain towns, I would just kind of just do my rounds after I had a meeting. I just walk around an industrial estate, walk around a few businesses on the high street, and just pop in, leave my card, have a chat with the owners if they were there. You can also make phone calls. You find businesses, you can make a list of what you're looking for, and find businesses with like not best looking websites, and just phone them up and say, hey, this is what we're doing. Is this something of interest to you? I picked up a few clients that way. Networking is phenomenally powerful, and Amber is the marketing partner for one particular Milton Keynes networking group, and I'm a member of a couple of others. And it's a lot of people make the mistake with networking. They just turn up and they feel that they can instantly get clients. I mean, obviously it's an ideal scenario, and that's only ever happened to me once, when I've walked into a networking event and left with a client the same day. But it's just a process that you've got to get to know people. People buy from people.
Yeah, of course.
So get to know them, build the relationships, and actually with Amber, we're in a very fortunate position that at the moment the majority of our work is coming through from referrals. I've not actually had any time to really do sales and go out there and pick up the phone, because a lot of businesses come our way through people just referring us. If you do a good job for a few people, the word will spread, and if you're members of certain groups and communities, then you can very easily start to pick up work that way.
That's amazing. So you talked about sort of like going out, and I've spoken to you before about what you call touch points. So what is that for people listening if they don't know what that is?
So a touch point is basically any point of contact with your customer or potential customer. So it could be a face-to-face conversation. It could be you giving them a piece of merchandise like a pen or a mug. It can be an email. It can be a social media message. It can be a blog post. It can be a letter, a postcard, literally any kind of contact between you and the customer. And the sales process has evolved hugely over the years, and this is kind of a whole topic in itself. But basically, 5-10 years ago, to make a sale, the average number of touch points was about 4. You pick up the phone. Is this something you need? Oh, yes, I do. Please send me an email about your details or a quote. You send them an email. That's the second touch point. You follow up the quote with a phone call. That's the third touch point. And they say, "Yep, right. Let's meet up to discuss." The meeting is the fourth touch point, and they sign up. Whereas because of the information age and how much information is available about your service or your product, the volume of competitors online, everything is just a click away. So those touch points have more than doubled. The average sales now made between the 8th and the 12th or 13th touch point. Okay. And you've got to be making at least 7 touch points for someone just to like consciously remember you. And the scope, the methodology isn't just to hound someone. And I know some people do that and see that as a viable sales model. Right, we're just going to be relentless and never give up. That's an immediate turn off for a lot of people. You've got to be be creative, be inventive. Have a message them on LinkedIn. Follow up with a postcard. Send them a letter to give them a free pen. Phone them up and be respectful of people's time, and just continue that relationship so they remember you, and avoid hounding them, because you won't get very far at all with them.
Yeah, no, and I think you saying that just shows the sort of level of like attention and and the level of commitment that you have to go to try and get a client or try and get some business going your way.
Yeah, it's well, with the amount of competition out there. I mean, when I was running Red Bear, there was a fair amount of competition, but now, like every other business is a digital marketing agency. Everyone is a social media guru, and it's great. I love competition. Actually, there's several other marketing agencies that we collaborate with and work with on numerous projects. So I have nothing. If it keeps you at the forefront of the game, and I find competition very healthy. And I know a lot of people will be like, oh gosh, we don't, they're the enemy or whatnot. But actually, if you find you actually have a conversation with them, you might find out that, oh, they're really good at this particular element of marketing. We're really good at this. So, when we pick up a client, or when they pick up a client, we can white label this service for them. They can do this element of the project. And it works out very well, because, the client's getting I'm a firm believer of everyone's got a very particular skill set, and if you kind of do what you're expert at, and find experts that are experts at other things to do that, so you get the best quality of the work done. Otherwise, the thing I find with, I mean, there's very little barriers of entry. Literally anyone could tomorrow set up a marketing agency. All you do is set up a website, print off some business cards, and you're a marketing agency. So yeah, as long as the work of what you do is of high quality, then your business is going to last. Whereas if you kind of profess, oh yeah, we do everything, and a lot of, for example, web development companies, they've started kind of saying, oh yeah, we do this as well, we do that as well, and they've been doing very poor jobs because they just spread themselves too thinly rather than focusing on the thing that they're really good at. They've tried to do everything and failed, and that's how a lot of creative businesses have gone under, because they've tried to they've not focused on what they're specialists at. They've just spread themselves too thinly and failed.
Yeah. So what would I don't know if you can answer this question actually, but like, what would a typical day look like for you? Because obviously being, that's why, because obviously I know you do lots of different things. How would you structure that day? And B, what would that day look like?
I try to plot out my day, and the thing I've learned is always factor in some leniency. So I always have I factor in 2 or 3 things, and then have like an hour or 90 minutes just of gap that I know is going to. And on so many occasions, I've done like a time and motion study where I've kind of mapped out my day, and I've mapped out what's actually happened, and 90% of the time it's wildly different because you don't know what's going to happen in the day. And they're obviously, I think it's time management is so important, and it's still something I'm learning to this day. And I think you've just got to block out time. And one of the wonderful things that we learned when we were at school was a school timetable. You've got 9 a.m, you've got maths, 10 a.m, you've got PE, then it's lunch or whatever. And as we enter the working world, we kind of lose that, and we kind of have this block of time, and we don't, unless we structure it and determine. So I write down the priorities, like what are the top 3 or top 6 things that I absolutely need to get done today. And hands up, there'll be 70% of days I will only get 2 of those things done, or 1, because there's so much going on. But yeah, I think you just write down your priorities and focus on those, and just manage your time as best you can. And you may need to kind of just cut down on distractions as well. Switch off your phone for an hour. Don't check. Yeah, one of the things that I've learned over time is actually don't have it, if you're working on a project or a proposal or work, just don't have your emails open. You could, as soon as it's human nature. As soon as you get like a notification ping up, you're like, oh, what's that?
Yeah.
And then you get sidetracked and whatnot. So just block out hours of your day to write, this hour is I'm only just doing this and nothing else. And that's how you're more likely to get things done and have a productive day. Yeah. I speak as if I'm all knowing and all productive, but I can guarantee that's not the case. Like I said, I'm still learning to make my time better, to just get the most out of the day.
Yeah. So like, in terms of like managing your time, being in lockdown and this COVID-19 going around the country, that must have thrown it all into like disarray. So how has being in self-isolation and being locked down changed for Amber Digital? So what have you done to sort of still keep running and still keep working, but also adhere to the government guidelines? We
actually been in a very fortunate position where lockdown hasn't impacted us at all. What essentially happened, because we, our development team, guys work from home, and I'm used to working from home as well. So it had very little impact at all. We just carried on as normal, and we communicate via all different platforms that we kind of communicate, and we just carried on as normal. And there was it is difficult. It can be difficult at times when, for example, something usually takes 30 seconds when you can shout across the office and be like, hey, can you phone so and so and ask him this? And that takes 5 seconds. The other person's on it, and that's that's done off your desk. Whereas if you have to send them an email, can you email? You may as well have done that yourself. And so there are things that have slowed down slightly, but in terms of the business model and how we operate, we've been very fortunate in that, we don't have to. I mean, Zoom, for example, having Zoom meetings,
it's incredible,
has made things so much more efficient. And it scares me because I love face-to-face contact. I love being in front of people and having a human conversation. Whereas Zoom, you don't have to travel to a meeting. You've already saved time and expense there.
Yeah.
And you can schedule. Whereas in a day you could schedule, I don't know, like 5 or 6 meetings. With Zoom, you could schedule 20 meetings in if you really wanted to, because it's just so efficient. You're like, right, I've got another meeting and we're going to click bye-bye now. And so yeah, it's great. But it does get a bit. I did on a couple of occasions just go into an empty office, just to have a bit of change of scenery and have something different in front of me rather than the 4 walls of my office. So.
Amazing. So just to wrap up, I always ask the people I'm interviewing 3 questions. So the 3 questions are based on the past, present, and future. So we'll start with the present. So what advice would you give a 15-year-old you? So what would you say to a 15-year-old you? What would you say to him?
15-year-old Mick. Oh
yeah.
gosh.
So what advice would you give him?
Probably to stop chasing girls and just focus on quit worrying about life and just relax a little bit and just enjoy yourself more and just stop stressing out. Everything will be okay. And I probably would have told 15-year-old Mick to read a few books and kind of some of the stuff I picked up like in my early 20s. It would have been great to have known them age 15.
Yeah. So moving on to the present. So you've got a dinner party with 3 guests. So it can be you and 3 other people. Which 3 people would you pick? So they can be a celebrity, non-celebrity, dead, alive, family member, non-family member, literally anyone you want to. So which 3 people would you go for?
I did mildly prepare for this because I have listened to a few of your episodes. So I'd pick Greg James.
Oh, yes. Radio 1%.
Dylan Moran, Irish comedian.
So who's that again, sorry?
Dylan Moran. He's just an Irish comedian. Hilarious, absolutely hilarious. He was in Black Books and does stand-up. Love the guy. And I would pick Avicii.
Of course,
Sadly no longer with us, but yeah, very fond of Avicii. So I'd have him join.
You're such a big fan that you so they were playing, so your now fiance's husband was playing that song, and as he finished playing that song, you proposed to your now fiance, didn't you?
Yes.
Off the back of Avicii.
Yes, my other half, her dad is in an Irish band and they do an Avicii cover, and when I asked her parents for their blessing and we went out for a meal, we were kind of thinking when would be the right time to ask, and I thought Christmas is just a bit too obvious, a bit too cliche, it's a bit too, and on the last day of November they had a gig on in Bedford, and we just thought it'd be hilarious to because it would be she wouldn't be expecting it at all on that night, and they did the Avicii cover, and I kind of took the microphone after that and got down on one knee, and here we are. She said spoiler alert.
Yeah, imagine if he goes, oh yeah, by the way, she said no. So luckily, she said yes. So just to wrap up, a question about the future. So where do you see yourself in 10 years' time? So what do you think you'll be doing in 2030?
2030?
Because I know one of your dreams is to own a castle, isn't it?
It is, yes. And I'm working towards that. So over the next 10 years, I think the focus will be definitely growing Amber Digital, getting it to a point where we've we've taken on more people. So essentially all the roles that I'm currently, because I'm doing project management, business development, and running the business. So I'm hoping over the next 10 years, there'll be people in place that will be doing that. And I'll kind of be able to take a little bit of a step back and do the things that I really enjoy, like going out and selling and doing the business development. And there'll be people in place kind of doing all the bits that I'm currently doing. And yeah, working towards the castle dream. That's definitely on the radar. And I think, it will be by this time next year, plus a few months, I would be married. So I think, over the next 10 years, starting a family will definitely be on the cards. So yeah, it will be family, getting very into a comfortable position with the business. And yeah, who knows? Maybe that castle will finally be there.
Finally be there. I can't think of a better way to end. Thank you, Mik.
I've got speaking of the future.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you, actually. I'm going to spring this upon you.
Wow. Okay, I wasn't expecting this.
So yeah, speaking of the future and
Yep.
Speaking of the wedding, I thought that there's actually an ulterior motive that I wanted to be on your podcast.
Right.
So I wanted to ask you, will you be my groomsman?
What? God, I'd love to. Oh, I hate you. Oh God, I actually hate you. Are you being serious?
100%.
Oh my God, oh, mate, I'd love nothing more.
Perfect.
I hate you. Oh, I was going to do an outro, but I don't know what to say. Oh man, that is amazing. Yeah, of course I will. Oh wow. I'm not speechless often, but I'm literally speechless now.
Crash the podcast.
You have literally. Oh man. Yes. No. Yeah. 100 times yes. Oh,
Perfect.
amazing. I don't know what to say. Right. I think. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I'm just gonna end it then. Thank you. Thank you to everyone listening. Subscribe, follow. You know the deal. Yeah, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.